Hello, everybody. This is Preston Poulter with Pocket Jacks Comics, and we got some scripts today. Fantastic. I was expecting to get some writing done, but oh my gosh, so many things happened this week that I did not expect. But let's see, we have dead babies.
That's mine.
Okay. All right, Danny, tell us about dead babies.
This is reckless child endangerment
Okay.
economy. Dead babies is my internal name for it because I'm a terrible, terrible person. There are no dead babies.
Right.
There have yet to be any dead babies, and I suspect there won't be any ever dead babies. So we've already read issue 1 of this together, as well as episodes like issue 0 on the stream.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the one where Priviel, our charming action girl who liberates treasure, she has picked up a basket that produces a fresh infant every week, and her and the young, not very worldly knight Gavin, who seeks adventure, are on a quest to find a freaking wizard who can lift this damn curse because, oh my god, the babies. They just keep happening. So where I'm at with the story right now is super weird. As I was telling John before we went live, I'm in the process of writing up a synopsis for a version of this story that works as like a 100-page graphic novel for a grant application.
Mm-hmm.
And
you mentioned that. Yeah.
I just need to get a bunch of story done. A, to see if my illustrator is happy with it. B, to see if it just works. So I just wrote it. So strictly speaking, this is probably issue 3, and issue 2 is not being written yet.
Okay.
So it is, yeah. That's where we're at with that. Did that make sense?
I love it.
Cool.
So this is comedy, right? Because this is like reckless child endangerment is like action comedy. Okay.
This is the haunted house episode.
Fantastic.
Preston, you're good at it, and I am sorry, but let's have you narrate. And John and I will do what we do. John, why don't you be Priviel and I'll be Gavin, and we'll alternate on the other. I think it's just Lucian for a little bit. So I can do, John, if you don't mind doing that, so I can take notes.
Sure. Lucian?
Cool.
All right.
All right. Let's see. So I am narrator?
You are the narrator. There's a lot of narration.
There is. I noticed. Okay.
And so here's the environment and what it looks like are both there. Right? So there are no design docs. This is all just in the script.
Okay. The party, Gavin, Priviel, how do I say that?
Gringolay. It's a
Gringolay. Okay, yeah.
Well, okay, it's a mutant raccoon horse, but
fair enough.
It's a horse.
Led by Lucian, a ramshackle, unkept phony of a diviner, 40s, exhausted and battle-damaged from a long journey through a miserable, monster-filled swamp, approach Marzana's hut. Situated in a clearing with a small stream in the midst of the Glaucus woods?
Glaucus, I think. It's actually the name of a color. This is actually useful information for my colorist.
Fair enough. A moss-covered west coast old-growth forest underneath a thick layer of mycologist's wet dream, Marzana's hut is impressively run down. It's covered in slime. There's a tree, 1.5 to 2 millimeters tall, growing a few feet from the front door. In the middle of the path, overgrown vegetation climbs up the swollen, rotting timber walls. Mycella choke the water wheel attached to a once red-painted shed across the turn of the stream. Lucian invites the party to explore with his right hand in a "please enter my home" pose.
As promised, the home of witch Marzana.
Wow. Maybe she'll be able to supply purgatory trumpet to help me cure the curse of the aberrant tongue before it spreads through Bradia. That's way wordy.
Dunno, Gavin. It looks very abandoned.
Page 2. View from the house in front of the tree. Gringolet's been tied to the stalk of a moral the size of the ancient pine, and Lucian stays behind as Gavin and Privial approach the door. Gavin gazing in some wonder at the fungal blooms, Privial suspiciously eyeing the truly impressive level of neglect on this property.
A red wheelhouse in a wretched wood, and a mesmerizing miasma of mycelium and petrichor. Is this where Mother Marzana makes her manse, huh? Trivial, if we can secure her help, I can finally do some real good for my people.
Sure we can, Gavin, but I'm starting to think that it's a really big if.
What? Why?
Panel 2. View from the forest. Profile. They argue on opposite sides of the path. Privial points directly at the tree.
Why? Look at that tree. Does that look like a convenient ingress to ya?
I don't know. Peasants live in all sorts of conditions. How am I supposed to recognize the odd until I've experienced it? That's the entire point of my ascension quest.
Panel 3. View from the house again. Profile. The argument continues. Now Privial turned her back to Gavin, crossed her arms, and put her nose up. She's being prissy. In the background, Lucian writes an arcane symbol in the air with a magic wand.
Well, we came all this way, so let's introduce ourselves. It's only polite.
That'll be easy enough once my nose stops running from the smell of burnt hair.
Good, because Marzana might actually recognize the mark of Zal, and you wouldn't want to be rude to someone who might actually help you.
Fine.
View from the forest. Gavin cheerfully pulls the rope to the doorbell, which miraculously still works. Privial leans against the sapling and cleans her fingernails with a knife. Ding dong.
Oh, weaver of water and mother of spring, Marzana, we call thee as this doorbell rings.
Page 3. Gavin steps back from the doorway in case anyone opens the door. Privial stands on the other side of the tree. They glance at each other, awaiting a reply that obviously will never come.
That better have been the right chant.
Lucian finishes casting his spell. A rush of wind sweeps from behind as he gloats.
All knowledge has a price, and if you want mine, you'll return with the heart of a nightmare. If you die, I'll keep your steed and supplies. Mwahaha! You fools would need more than luck to survive Marzana's curse. Wand of wind, blow my foe.
Panel 3. As Privial and Gavin use their hands to shield their faces from the gust of wind, the door to the hut bursts open inwards. Panel 4. Both Privial and Gavin hang onto the sapling as the strong wind pulls them off their feet.
What have you done?
This wind!
Panel 5. The sapling bends. The wind blows our heroes into the cabin in a tumble.
Ah!
Page 4, Panel 1. Although it's a bright, clear day outside, the actual time of day inside the hut varies on a room-by-room basis. The entry is lit by a neutral light with no distinct source. It just is. All the subsequent rooms are vaguely cobwebby dusty, but it's always with mycella. After the wind blew our heroes into the cabin in a tumble, the door slammed shut behind them, and they lie in contorted, uncomfortable positions on the floor, catching their breath. They landed in the small entryway with closed doors to the left and right. A now upended umbrella stand holding the skeleton of an umbrella, a portrait of which Marzella with the eyes X'd out in charcoal, and a plaque that reads, "A clean house is the sign of a wasted life."
Lucian, you traitor!
Privial sits up and feels her head for bumps. Gavin bounces to his feet and brushes the dust off his clothes.
Nothing to do now. We need to find our way out.
Panel 3. Gavin reaches his hand out and helps Privial stand.
Up we go.
I'll try the front door, but I'm sure it's magically protected.
Probably. Marzana's supposed to be a very powerful witch.
Powerful enough that her magic outlives her to this day?
Panel 3. Privial, feet braced against the door frame and pulling the knob with all her power, struggles as she fails to open the door. Gavin sheepishly kicks the floorboards with the toes of his shoes.
If she's dead, you mean? I didn't think of that.
Front door's no good. Let's split up and see what we're up against.
Good idea. This is a pretty small hut.
Panel 4. Privial opens the door on the left and steps through. Gavin opens the door on the right and steps through. We can see that different qualities of light from each side illuminate the floor.
Great. Holler if you find something.
Gotcha.
Page 5. 10 panels. Okay. All right. Page 5. We're going for it. Panel 1. Interior. Marzana's hut parlor. Privial enters Marzana's parlor. It's always a summer's dawn in Marzana's parlor, which is full of odd work in progress. One wall has vertical stack of mantles on either side of a cold fireplace, by which a cat skeleton sleeps forever on the hearth. The shelves hold an odd collection of Russian doll-looking ceramic statuettes, some candles, and most of a fine china tea set, of which the teapot, 1 cup, and 1 saucer sit on the short table between 2 rotten, once velvet cushioned couches, as does the stained glass letterbox. A bold mushroom, emboldened by ancient tea, has forced the lid of the teapot ajar. On one couch, a pre-industrial needle and thread sits atop a half-completed pointy hat. On the other, a half-taxidermy black poodle stands... I don't know what a half-taxidermy black poodle would look like.
Partially stuffed, partially not sewn together properly.
Okay, fair enough.
Work in progress.
Yeah, stands a little bit.
Oh, I was thinking it was like still like half dog
Yeah,
and half.
yeah. It's kind of confusing, like half taxidermy. All right, its left side split open. Oh, okay, there we go. And spilling out mushroom-infested rags. All right, this is very descriptive. The sheer curtains over the window are closed, creating beams from the diffused light of the bright, forever dawning summer sun.
I'm going to say if all 10 panels on this page are that descriptive...
They're not, and we can come back to these locations later, in a part that is not in front of us, in which we ransack this house. Here is this room, now we explore it.
Okay. I had no idea what to expect, but it wasn't this.
Panel 2. Privial opens the teapot and gags.
Gross.
Panel 3. Privial pokes the poodle with a sheathed dagger, exposing a small puff of spores.
What kind of creature are you?
Panel 4. Privial opens the curtains and sees the sun rising over a valley filled with beautiful flowers.
What the? It's not the Glaucus Woods.
Panel 5. Desperately, Privial braces her feet on the windowsill in a squat and attempts to lift the window. It doesn't budge.
Come on!
Panel 5. Interior Marzana's hut bedroom. Gavin enters Marzana's bedroom. It's always an autumn night in Marzana's bedroom. The 4-poster bed has its ornate curtains embroidered with mystic runes drawn, but a human-like shape is visible through them in silhouette. Someone has recently ransacked an ornate chest of 3 drawers, strewing a landslide of clothes across the floor. A padded chest sits at the end of the bed with a broken padlock hanging on its hasp. A chamber pot sits beside the dressing table, featuring a case full of makeup brushes, a wig on a stand, and a smashed-in mirror. On the wall opposite, someone has written, "In Gilum imus nocent et comsumet igni," using
Not bad Latin.
No. Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, I took a year of Latin.
Hey, there you go.
There you go, yeah. It should be perfect Latin. I mean,
In
because...
nocte et consumuere igni, because it's a passive verb.
Well, the great thing about Latin is there is no correct pronunciation. So.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Consumere, there we go.
Yeah, using up all the actual makeup to do so. Let's see. That's it. Thank you. That's easy for me to. Using up all the actual makeup to do so. The spend contains all of which.
Spent with a T.
Oh, the spent contains all of which are scattered across the floor. The heavy curtains over the window are slightly ajar, infusing the room with the orange-red light of a full blood moon after it's passed through the clouds of a light early autumn rain.
Marzana, I come seeking a boon, O mother of miasma. A pestilence has befallen my country.
Huh, all right, panel 7. Here we go. Gavin pulls a bed curtain aside. Although the silhouette looks human, it's actually a human-shaped colony of parasol giant mushrooms growing in a giant-shaped indentation on the bed.
Marzana isn't here?
Panel 8. Gavin looks into the smash mirror, reading the skewed reflection of the palindrome on the wall. In the cracked glass, various parts of the reflected face belong to other people.
We travel in circles at night and are consumed by fire?
Panel 9. Drawing the curtain aside, Gavin sees a full ochre moon hanging over a skeletal hillside orchard in which naked branches reach up as if to throttle the sky to death.
What? It can't be night already.
Panel 10. Gavin tries to push the window open with all his might, but it won't budge.
Come on.
I think you may still be better served with fewer panels, like if you break it up into a couple of pages. We'll see.
I bet you split this into 2 pages.
Yeah.
And just do
Yeah,
like
I
1
think we
page
should
per
do that,
location.
but-
Yeah. I mean, because
right now I'm
look,
trying to
that's
keep-
not to say it couldn't happen, but I mean, there are people talking in like every panel, so and there's a lot of description. I feel like the word bubbles are going to cover up all this elaborate stuff, and
That's a good point. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm still 50-50 on that, and I think that's sort of pending final page count,
Okay.
which sort of is my problem, is landing the denouement right now.
Page 6. Gavin enters Marzana's library. It's always a pleasantly lit spring day in the library. The library itself is a wide room. Bookshelves line a wall opposite a workbench with a lectern, an inkwell, and an open parchment book. A stacked pile of sewn queries sits on a small shelf on that wall, but the top 2 have been dislodged by a fungal bloom near the center of the stack. The wall opposite the door features a huge window, nearly floor to ceiling, with no curtains. Outside we see a tropical bench. As the ocean fogs begin to roll away after a light rain, a rainbow appears above the sprawling business of a sea frozen in time. A 17th century ship is being torn apart by the arms of a kraken, while various mer-people, I don't care which half is fish, play on the Okay, that's a bold choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
They might as well be top fish with human legs.
I
I'm totally
know.
cool with that. I am 100%. This is a story about someone trying to get rid of a basket that makes babies. I am 100% cool with fish people with human legs.
Okay.
And
And presumably human genitalia. I don't know.
yeah, totally cool with that.
Okay.
Maybe the fish are wearing pants.
Maybe.
Is
I mean, that's the question the artist is going to want to know is like, am I drawing naughty bits or do these mer people have swimsuits? You know?
Ooh, that bikinis. Everyone's got a bikini. Or
Yeah.
like a late 19th century swimming costume, like one of those onesies.
Right. I mean, as
the
the artist
art-
drawing this, yeah, I would want you to tell me because I don't want to.
The artist has drawn some of this project before,
Okay, yeah.
and one of the reasons there is some vagueness, aside from the fact that I wrote this like 2 days ago and it's kind of first drafty,
Right.
well, it's like second drafty, is that moving forward on the project, we're actually splitting ownership, so she gets to make decisions.
Neat. Okay.
So I'm giving her opportunities to make decisions, obviously, in the script to start getting her used to that.
Okay.
And I've told her about that, and she's cool with it.
All right. Fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a script for a specific illustrator.
Okay.
Lines. A library. I could have sworn that door led back to the entryway.
Let's see what we got. The back lagoon is junk. It is. That is true.
Yes.
I love
Dave.
yeah I love those movies growing up. Those like it was so cool watching 3D Creature from the Black Lagoon way back when. That was a thrill. All right, Gravin stares out the window in awe.
Wow. It's like they're frozen in time. How did that happen?
Panel 3. Gavin throws the stool at the window. It bounces off. Thunk.
Ah!
Panel 4. Gavin packs up the open book and begins to read.
I've come to suspect that the key to unlocking my memories of the battle lies in the hyphae of a certain mushroom. Near the end of my allotment of lifetime, I was nothing more than to overcome this single barrier in my recollection.
Panel 5. Gavin drops the book, realizing his predicament. He's trapped.
The witch. She's dead, isn't she?
Ding dong, the witch is dead.
That's why the doorbell said ding dong.
Yeah. Panel 7. Privial enters Marzana's workshop. It's always a cold winter's night in Marzana's workshop. The center of the room features a cauldron suspended from a stand with a hook above a long, cold pile of ash. A large wooden spoon rests against it. Arcane symbols encircle the fireplace, stamped into a ring of pure bright silver embedded in the cobbed floor. I feel like I'm an influence here. I don't know. Like, this feels a little bit like
I mean, it's a fantasy project.
Yeah.
You gotta do fantasy things.
yeah,
And you gotta draw them in.
exactly.
Like reading the script, or else you're not gonna get drawn. Otherwise,
Yes,
you know,
absolutely, 100%.
If this is a haunted house, it's
Yeah.
gotta have that mood, right?
Yeah. Against one wall, a 3-tiered shelving unit holds specimen jars of nightmarish creatures and preservations. The row below it holds jars full of pickled tongues, eyes, teeth, etc. The topmost shelf contains jars of raw chemicals, all carefully labeled. A growing fungus has unseated one of the jars on the bottom shelf, containing a whole specimen. Broken jars rest on the cobbles, and liquid has long since seeped away. One of the creature's limbs rests sickeningly twisted or broken from the shock. The opposite wall features a thin workbench with a lectern, a recipe book, and some science lab kit, beakers, Erlenmeyer flasks, a Bunsen burner, syringes, droppers, etc. The wall opposite the door features a huge window, nearly floor to ceiling, with no curtains. Outside, we see a winter sky showing bright constellations and a polar aurora in the air above a moon smashed into pieces. Ooh, okay, we're going H.G. Wells. Such that the remainder resembles a grinning skull. Oh, I love that. In the frozen waste below, a massive ice-encased futuristic chainsaw sword juts out the side of a rocky, snow-peaked mountain. We have a line.
How did I elfin get here?
Panel 2. Previo looks at the jars on the second shelf.
I wonder if...
Panel 3. Pushing bottles from the first row off the side, Privio's hand grabs a bottle of dried mushrooms from the shelf. The label is clearly legible.
Purgatory
Copy.
crump dried. Gavin's gonna owe me for this find.
Privio stares out the window in awe.
What is this place?
Close up of Privio's face as a sound shakes her from her reverie.
Trivial!
Sorry, yeah. Page 8, panel 1. Privio rushes through the doorway into the kitchen, where Gabriel awaits her, holding a handkerchief over her nose and mouth. The kitchen is lit by the same neutral light as the entryway. It's homey, and a housewife kept the place as tidy as possible before she died horribly, and nightmare fungus took over the house kind of way. White cabinets with pink trim, a hanging rack for cookware, a cabinet pantry for dry goods, etc. On the wall, by the sink, sits a shelf with well-organized wooden dishes. There's a clean counter, a small table with 2 chairs pushed up against the wall, utensils set up on a single placemat with a single plate and a desiccated apple, and a half-empty glass of water bearing a lipstick stain. A few bottles of wine sit in a wine rack near the far wall, by the cold fireplace above which, recessed into the wall, the wooden door to the oven embedded in the brick wall is closed.
Gavin, are you...
Unharmed. And you?
The same.
Panel 2. Privial gets into a step stool and investigates the top cabinets on the pantry while Gavin looks under the table.
Did you learn anything?
The witch, I think she died. Something to do with some kind of mushroom experiment?
All I know about them is that experiments are dangerous. Although apparently they're all delicious, exactly once.
Panel 3. Privial works on another cabinet. Leaving the first one open, Gavin struggles with the open door with both hands.
You were right about the smell,
Okay.
by the way. Burnt hair. Oops, I'm sorry, that's your line.
That's me. You're right about the smell, by the way. Burnt hair. But the fireplace is empty.
I know, it's gross. Worse yet, I can't tell how long it's been since we entered. Feels like days.
Panel 4. On her knees, Privial rummages through a cabinet underneath the sink. Gavial falls backwards on his butt as the open door finally becomes unstuck, taking it with him. Yeah, taking it with him. Shatunk.
Huh?
Panel 5. Close up on the interior of the oven. Now that it's been opened, cold wood ash lies on the bricks, atop which sits the burnt, blackened, decapitated head of the witch Marzana. In profile, overbaked tongue encapping her burnt mouth.
Escaping.
What is? Oh, sorry, escaping. Escape. I'm doing. What was that movie? Finding Nemo. Her burnt mouth framed by her pearly teeth. In her charred left earlobe, a emerald pendant earring set in gold in the shape of a mystic ruin faces the opening of the oven. And that is the end of our story.
That is the end of our story.
All right. Well, hey, you certainly have a lot of description. We got some action. People are dying. I like that, because we saw a fair amount of the witch, and now she's dead, or at least we saw a fair amount of her house, and now,
Yeah, we didn't see any of the witch.
Yeah,
we just
all
saw
right.
her
Well,
house.
we saw the house. I mean, I, as the narrator, have to say she was everywhere because Marzana's hut was on like every panel, but Marzana was not. But I, as the narrator, felt her influence in every page. But the
That is
viewer
what I'm
may
going
not.
for.
Yeah, the viewer may not. I don't know, because it's not going to say Marzana. You're just going to be like, oh wait, what's that? A head. A guy who I knew, who had one screenplay credit, used to always joke, "What's that in the road? What's that up in the road? A head?" Anyway, so writer jokes.
There we go.
There we go. All right, John, what do you think?
It was very descriptive. I mean, like, if you want to take up interior design, art director for a movie, hire you. Like,
I mean,
that is...
He is painting the world.
Yes, absolutely. You
Right.
did a fine job of painting the world.
Yes. And it's appropriately fantasy. All right. Can you think of any characters you really like, John? We had Privial. We had Gavin.
Lucian, he was the only guy
We had
that did
Lucian.
anything interesting.
All right. I'm trying to
He's the
remember.
only guy who does anything interesting.
Yeah.
In these sets of pages, Lucian was the only guy that did anything interesting. He cast a spell and blew some wind.
There we go. Awesome. Okay. Yeah. All right. Constructives. It's a little. Let's see. I mean, I was
I
narrating.
have one quick
All right.
one.
Go ahead. What do we
Your
got?
comedy didn't feel like a comedy.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. There weren't a lot of jokes. There were, I want to say, like 3 or 4. And typically you want a few more than that. But whatever. It sometimes it's hard to find the humor in a particular scene or a particular setting.
It could just be that because we were spent so much time doing set design and
Right.
that sort of a thing that the humor
mean,
kind of got lost on me.
Wait, have you ever
And
seen? Yeah.
There is definitely a lot less intentional, like, haha, laugh out loud humor
Right.
here, because this is the haunted house, and I need to take the haunted house seriously.
Okay.
So that was definitely my goal.
Yeah,
in
but I kind of
Scooby
feel like
also.
even Scooby-Doo's a comedy and they take their haunted houses seriously and they're still funny. But again,
That's
I
good to
think
know.
but I do, I don't want to be too hard on it because you spend a lot of time on the descriptions, and I think reading it as a comic book and not reading through all of this description, it might feel differently. But just reading this as the script, it didn't really jump out to me that this is a comedy. If this was all I knew of it, I would not be thinking that this is a comedy.
Yeah,
But
totally fair.
but again,
Jinkies.
Did the argument between the protagonists at the beginning seem not too stiff?
honestly, I forgot the whole beginning
Yeah,
after we got into the house, and it was just all non-stop. That's why I said, like, maybe when it's drawn, it'll feel different. But reading the script, there was so much description that I don't remember anything. That's why when Preston said, "What did I like about the characters?" I said Lucian, because he's the only guy that did. Everybody else just stood around and didn't do anything. They just opened jars, lids, and like that's not interesting. But a guy cast a spell and blew a big wind. I remembered that. I forgot everything else that happened.
When it comes to fantasy comedy, I mean, there's Men in Tights, but there's also Your Highness, which is obviously that's combining two genres, combining fantasy with marijuana movies, which are kind of their own genre. But it was memorable and it was good and it was funny.
I remember Your Highness was funny, and that's all I remember about it.
Right. But Your Highness had a lot of goofy characters, a lot of goofy concepts. And I feel like this script plays it pretty straight. It just looks for humor in certain situations, which may or may not be there. That being said, the setting was lavish. There wasn't a ton of conflict to grab onto, I feel. So look, I love the head in the oven. So that was cool.
Okay, cool. I'll take that.
Yeah, that was neat. The characters, I don't remember any interaction between these characters where I'm like, oh, I want that person to win, or I'm concerned, so.
Okay, yeah, that's legit. Certainly, we're coming in like very close to medias res.
Right.
And we do separate the characters so they don't interact for a lot of what we just read.
I do think that you did yourself a disservice by putting all of the description in your script. That for a script that's meant to be read, for story critique and character development critique, we spent so much time discussing art design that everything else got lost, and I think you did yourself a bit of a disservice by trying to include it.
That's fair. This is the thing I do in my early drafts a lot, is try and use the
well, that's fine. I'm saying that's fine in an early draft, but
it wasn't great for you guys. I very much get that.
Yeah, that's all I'm trying to say. Like, I just don't. It's so dense. It's really, really hard to find the humor or to find the character interactions or to, did we fear for the safety of our characters? I don't know. I mean, were the spores coming out of the half-stuffed dead dog poisonous? I mean, like, I don't really recall anything that threatened our heroes except for the giant wind.
That's fair. And as we find out, yes. Like, literally, the first panel on the next page is Prevail steals the earring. The severed head is full of spores. They are now going to go through this environment while high on drugs.
So there's an earring
on the severed head.
I totally missed the earring. But
totally
okay.
Cool. That was like literally the last panel when it was revealed. So
yeah, the head in the oven. The head in the oven has an earring.
I didn't. Okay, I heard head in the oven. I missed the earring.
Okay. Yeah.
But I do agree. I thought the head in the oven was kind of a nice reveal, especially because when you started describing the oven, I started thinking of Hansel and Gretel, and then to see the witch's head in the oven, I'm like, oh, are we going after Hansel and Gretel witch hunters?
I mean, to a degree. Eventually, they're going to find the body, which is not near the head.
I'd hope not. I don't think
So
the body will
that's
fit
going to be a
in
bit
the
of fun, I hope. Cool, yeah. So kind of okay. Definitely not nailing comedy as much as I want to so explicitly right now.
Comedy is hard.
Comedy is hard. There are comedy.
But like I said, like the
Like,
script is
gag
not
is also
like it's not
hard.
embracing comedy. It doesn't have like a cast that's just outlandish on its face, looking for situations. Like I feel like the cast is like kind of straight up fantasy.
The cast is in a lot of ways the straight man,
Right.
and the world is a bit more of the comedy.
Okay.
Like, so if you recall, and I know this was like last fall, like chapter one of this is like, oh, we go to a town and Gavin's looking for adventure, and then he ends up in basically Artist Alley at a convention, just in a fantasy world of adventurers like looking for work.
Yeah, I remember that. And your ninjas in yellow suits and all
So
of that. Yeah.
the weirdness sort of surrounds our characters a bit more than it is our characters in this. Or at least that's how I keep writing it, so I guess that's what I'm going for. And then I definitely feel like on the writing side, the exercise for me was take the same sort of tools one would use for like these juxtapositive tools that one uses for comedy and see how they work to like approach horror. So it's still a work in progress, and there will be more of this scenario coming as it is written.
Love it.
With a lot less description, because we've already got that.
All right. And the other script is John Lamont with some Angel of Darkness. John, how is... All right, so Angel of Darkness I saw is coming out soon, right?
Yes, issue 2. I had some. We had some production delays, which hopefully will
It
be
happens.
resolved.
Yeah.
Yes. Which hopefully will be back on schedule in another week.
Okay.
That's for issue 2. So we're probably not going to be launching in April like I originally hoped. So it's probably going to end up probably being May or June because I'm gonna wait till it's done. I'm not doing this. I gotta get.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Do let me know when you start having dates, because I've got Cygnus issue 2 starting color soon, and I don't want to compete with you on Kickstarter.
And actually, I do want to get with you, and I've just been so freaking busy with everything else going on this week. But I do want to talk to you about fonts because we need to. I'm not married to the font that I used for issue 1 for the Shona language.
Okay.
So
we can find something and we can build something.
Yeah. So I want to get with you on that, and I'm not going to ask you to invent something out of whole cloth, but I'll show you what I've been working with, and we'll talk when I have time.
Okay, yeah, cool. Hit me up whenever, and we'll have that discussion.
John and I have been very busy this week. There's been a lot.
Yes. I also...
Yes.
Oh!
Yeah.
I also had to deal with Ready Comics and getting all my proofs for my metal orders. So I'm doing that.
What do you think of those guys? Guy and gal. Husband and wife team.
I will have a better answer when I actually hold their product in my hands.
Okay.
But so far, yeah, it was pretty nice.
Yeah. I like them. I think they're. I think they may become my preferred small printer. I mean, the way our business model works is it's, issue, trade paperback, and like I don't think I'd ever use Ready for like my trade paperback stuff. But for the small issues, I think they're not bad. And for when it comes to metal covers, I mean, there are not a lot of places to get those. Period. So.
There aren't, and I like that they allow for small print runs.
Yeah.
So what it means is that I'm not going to be ordering metal prints unless to fill Kickstarters.
Right.
So that way I'm not stuck with them because
exactly.
Yeah. So like I sold a lot of the Miss Temperance cover metal, but I didn't sell. I didn't sell a lot of the metals.
How many?
Oh, God, I'm gonna have to check. Let's
Okay.
see. Let me go.
15? I'm going to guess 15.
No, 15 was the tier, and that sold out.
Really?
So it's more than that.
More than 15. Okay.
What am I doing? Issue.
I mean, as far as like cover art collectors go, like
Yeah.
John's project was very wet green.
Yeah.
26.
26.
Yes.
At like what? Like 60 each?
50.
50. Okay. So that's not too bad.
No,
that's
not too
bad.
1,300 right there.
John, can you send me some photos of those when they come in? Because I'd like to see what they're like.
A metal cover?
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. I'll show you.
Like,
And so
foil
while
or,
Preston's
like,
doing
actual
that, let me just say, so I sold 26 of my Keith Garvey cover. All the other metal covers combined totaled 6.
I mean, I'm not surprised. The Keith Garvey cover did really well.
I did really, really well.
Okay, so Preston, you're muted.
There we go. So I have it set up so that it's supposed to blur
Is this like foil magic card metal, or is it like actually?
No, it's actually aluminum.
Oh, okay.
Yes. It is not
as
foil.
in, this is very fragile. Because aluminum, as you know, is not that hard to crush. And if you drop this and one of these corners gets dinged, there went your collectability like out the window. So you got to be real careful with those.
So those are
And
not
I had people buy like 2 of them. Several of my customers bought 2. Like that's not 26
and
individual
hey,
people.
I'm going to pat myself on the back for saying metal covers were not a component of the original campaign when John said, "Hey, look at this," and I'm like, "It needs metal covers," and he's like, "You needs what?" I'm like, "Metal covers." He's like, "What's that?" It's where you put a piece of metal on the front of your comic book. He's like, "Why would I ever do that?" I'm like, "'Cause people buy it." So you know.
Exactly.
I mean, it sounds like a shipping and fulfillment nightmare, but definitely the markup for doing that as limited edition is certainly compelling.
Yeah. Well, because the cost is like $12. I mean, plus the comic book, so maybe 15 altogether after you factor in print costs.
Like $15 to $16.
Okay. Well, I mean, still, I mean, your cost is around 20, which is a lot. But when you're only printing on demand and you're selling it at 60 to 65, you're doing okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And definitely. That's kind of that's why I was like, metal is going to be on demand, and I don't have to worry about stocking up on them.
Let me put it this way. I've given the advice of metal covers to a few different comic creators. I have yet to have someone be disappointed. So, there you go.
And again, as I said, they're on demand, so it's not like I got to print, 10 just to sell one book.
Indeed. All right, so this is Angel of Darkness 3. So what happened in Angel of Darkness 2?
All right, so if you may or may not recall, but basically they're on the train, the zombies are on the train, and issue 2 ended as the train has begun to speed up to unsafe speeds.
I'm sick of these MFing zombies on this MFing train.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Page 2. Page 2/3. All right, I like it.
Page 2 and 3. We're going to open on a 2-page spread.
Okay, here we go.
All right, I guess I'll read this as...
Sure.
Yeah. Preston, thank you for reading.
No problem. The future is metal, indeed.
Horrifyingly descriptive shenanigans. Okay, panel 1, top left, inset, page 2. Exterior, African belt, day. Wide panel showing the 9-coach locomotive branded train racing at high speed through the African belt. Use motion lines and fading to indicate the train is nearing unsafe speeds. Panel 2, large 2-page spread. Is there a small 2-page spread?
Exactly.
Interior, passenger coach number 5. Towards the left, near the edge of page 2, but still within the margins. Jesus Christ. Sits the door to train coupler 4 to 5, barricaded with wooden slats. In the center, a large view of the passenger coach containing all manner of passengers sitting together in groups, including conscripts in infantry fatigues, farmers in denim overalls, and farmer women dressed in African commoners' clothing. Skilled professionals, men and women, bakers, tanners, and blacksmiths wearing African traditional clothing. Business professionals, only men, including bankers and politicians, wearing European suits. And an Anglican priest who, for some reason, does not justify his own bullet point. Towards the right, center of page 3, Amos, Hansu, and Jakande race down the center of the coach towards the barricaded doors.
What's going on?
We think they mean to derail the train. We have to retake the engine.
That's suicide.
If we do nothing, we die.
Cape to Cairo Railways, Central Africa, 1939.
Hell yeah, baby.
Panel 3, lower right, interior, passenger coach number 3. Several zombies stand immobile, almost in a daze, around Zombie Ojukwu, as the shadow forces itself into him.
The shadow? All right.
The shadow knows. Page 4, panel 1, passenger coach number 5, interior. Amos stands in front of the barricaded door leading to train coupler 4-5, facing the frightened passengers. Behind him, Hanso and Jakande pull the barricade slats off the door.
As soon as the door is open, we fire a volley and make our way to the forest.
Panel
To the
2,
front.
above them.
Oh, sorry, to the front, My apologies.
Pound on the roof.
Okay.
Amos and the conscripts aim their guns at the roof. Stop, stop, stop.
Fire!
Exterior, passenger coach number 5, 9:15 a.m. Roof. We need day-night tags for that, John. Zombie Ojukwu runs atop the roof towards the rear of passenger coach number 5. Bullets blast through the roof, chasing Zombie Ojukwu.
Pew pew! Wait, pew pew question mark. Pew pew?
That's you're reading the
That I'm going to let my letterer fix.
Okay.
I don't know what the
Someone who
sound
might end up
would...
being your letterer, please do better, because I am not good enough to have a great library.
What's wrong with bang?
Well, I don't know what
Apparently
the sound of... Well, when they got a bullet going through wood, I don't know what that sound would be.
All right, well, first off, the big noise is going to be the gunpowder. The gunpowder is always going to be the biggest noise. Unless the bullet has traveled a significant distance from the explosion which launched it, you're always okay with bang. You know, like the sound of the wood shattering is not going to be louder than...
Preston, it's fine. I'm going to letter it. I'm just going to say pew pew with the question mark.
Okay, fair enough. Pew pew?
Exterior, train coupler 5-6. Zombie Ojukwu leaps off the end of the coach. Panel 5, interior, passenger coach number 6. Zombie Ojukwu crashes through the door.
Crash.
That's a good transition. Page 5, panel 1, interior, passenger coach 6. Zombie Ojukwu attacks a conscript as others panic and attempt to flee. Panel 2, exterior, train coupler 5-6. Amos leaps over the shifting metal platforms of train coupler 5-6. Panel 3, interior, passenger coach number 6. Amos fires his pistol at his foot. The bullet splatters Zombie Ojukwu's brain across the coach.
Blam!
Panel 4, the shadow is expelled. Panel 5,
we knew
the shadow pulls another conscript to its feet. Amos waves everyone towards the back of the coach.
Everyone to coach 7, move! You got to move it,
Panel 1, interior, passenger coach number 6. The shadow mid-pull a corpse to its feet.
I don't know what that means, but okay. What does that mean? Oh, like
the shadow
in the middle of pulling a corpse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pulls a corpse to its feet.
Okay, it should be the shadow pulls a corpse to its feet.
No, I know exactly what John's doing. I know why he's doing it. It's probably a good idea.
Okay.
I could tell this from the very, very basic mention in the splash page when he was like, draw this inside the crop marks,
Yeah.
that he is giving very specific directions to the illustrator, possibly due to a language barrier or something like that.
Yes,
Mhm.
they're all ES. Actually, none of them speak English. I have to. All this has to make it through Google Translate.
There you go.
So, at a certain low
Metric
level
system.
of
Go. Metric.
production,
$150 a
conflict.
page, baby.
Yeah,
Whatever I got to do to make it work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
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 By
at a
the
certain
way,
level of
like
conflict,
Danny, I
I
know you mentioned for the dragon one. What is it? Not Dragon Warrior. Spirit of the Dragon. Yeah, Spirit of the Dragon. That you weren't quite happy with the inking. You mentioned that to me. Like you wanted more varied line weights and stuff.
I did, but
Okay.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's a very, very loose manga style.
Okay.
Clearly, people bought it, having seen it, so it'll do.
Yeah.
And I saw, John, you posted a whole bunch of the pencils in one of the channels on Preston's Discord.
Comic artwork. Yeah.
That were way, way nicer, and did a lot of things successfully that like clearly didn't come through in the ink work. So hopefully we don't have these production problems moving forward.
For this project and not for a different one?
This was for Spirit of the Dragon.
Yeah, I don't remember posting a lot of the pencil work.
There was like some pulleys and stuff and some bases.
Oh yes, yes, I do remember. I do remember referring to that because yes, I made a comment that I need to be more on top of my inker. Yes.
And, I've never hired an inker separately, so I imagine that's a nightmare when there's an additional person with an additional language barrier.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the pencilers' inks. I find them to be a little too light. And because I was looking at that when I was going through issue 2, thinking about using him, but I kind of like the more solid, darker lines that Alex does. But I do kind of agree that he needs a little bit more practice. So I'm gonna be a little more on top of him.
I mean, yeah, having that stage where you do the approvals and the editing is probably going to help, right? If you spend a bit more time and attention on that, now that you know what you're looking for.
Right.
My first project, I had so many continuity issues, I didn't even know until coloring happened. I was like, oh, that's just missing. Oh, what's that there? Oh, this person's extra arm doesn't have any bounding lines because the illustrator didn't draw it. So we had to just go back and do touch-ups. Okay, I should probably read the script. So the shadows pulling corpse to his feet. Amos splatters brain matter across the window. Cool. Whose brain?
Somebody's.
Background passengers. Maybe he just throws the. No, his pistol fires brain matter.
There you go.
That's right.
It does sound like it. Yeah.
I would write that.
Yeah.
In the background, passengers race towards passenger coach number 7. Some help the wounded, others simply flee. Blam. Panel 2, close on pistol. The pistol slide locked open. The clip slides free. Panel 3, Amos reloads the pistol. On either side of him, 2 zombie leap for him. Like for joy. Yay, Amos, you're reloading.
There we go. And I noticed we're going with like the Latin plural.
Yeah, no, I like it.
Yeah. All right.
Panel 4, Amos lays on his back on the floor of the coach. He pushes one zombie away as it bites his hand. Oh, hold on. That's not the bad kind of zombie, though, right? So he's safe, right, John?
No, these are magic zombies. They're not sci-fi zombies.
Yeah, so we're good. We're good. Amos presses the barrel of his pistol against the other zombie, firing. It gnashes its teeth as blood mists from its back. Blam! See, blam. That's a good sound for a gunshot. There's so much more of it coming. Page 7, panel 1, Amos's pointed view, passenger coach number 6. Erin stands over Amos. Her boot pushes one of the zombie against the bench as she shoots it in the head with her pistol. Brain matter splatters across the bench. Blam!
So you're really going with this unique spelling on zombie?
Yes.
I am totally
okay.
cool with that.
All right.
Important
And it is both
questions
singular
for panel
and plural.
number
Okay, fair enough.
1. Is Erin wearing a skirt? Pants?
Have you not seen the promo artwork for her?
Mini skirt,
probably.
I think. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, cool. Just checking.
There we go.
So this is actually just like a leggy leg shot too.
Yes, this is a leggy leg shot.
Then look, if you're putting sexy female anatomy on the page, you need to put sexy female anatomy in your description, in my opinion. You know,
Because like that was what I thought you were doing, and
Right.
I'm glad you're doing it. But also, the illustrator should know you're doing it.
yes, exactly. Yeah, the illustrator shouldn't have to interpret like, does he want TNA? Like, he needs to know.
Panel 2, Amos shoves his pistol under the other zombie's chin and fires. Brain matter explodes in the air. Blam! Panel 3, Amos nurses his bleeding hand as he moves towards passenger coach number 7. Erin stands between him, dual-wielding M1911 pistols at the pursuing zombies, shooting. Blam, blam, blam! Panel 4, passenger coach number 7. Amos and Erin press against the door of passenger coach number 7. I don't know what that means. Around them, the conscripts hammer slats on the doors and windows. Okay, I do know what that means. Through the windows, we see a dozen zombies pressing against the door. Okay, so it's that. Alright, got it. Ooh, page 8-9. Alright. Panel 1, 2-page splash. Exterior African Valves, day. Top half of the 2-page splash page. Train moves from left to right. We see passenger coach blah 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 in order. Through the windows, we can see the passengers in coach 7 barricade the door to train coupler 6-7. You can also see Erin and Amos standing towards the center of the coach, doing nothing, just standing there, like ragdolls. Through the windows, we can see the passengers of coach number 5 are barricading the door to train coupler 5 and 6. Hansu and Jakande stand towards the center of the coach, doing nothing, like ragdolls. Bottom half of the splash. The belt stretches out onto the bottom edge of the page. The below insert panels will appear as zoomed-in views of what is going on inside each coach. Panel 2, inset lower left. Passenger coach number 7. Erin wraps a bandage on Amos's hand.
That's what they were doing. Should I do it in both descriptions?
Yes.
Okay.
Where's the major?
2 coaches up.
Like, so remember when I did, like, literally the same thing just now that we just read? Like, yeah, do it in both panels, because we want to, if your problem is to reduce ambiguity for the illustrators, just reduce it.
Okay.
Panel 3, interior passenger coach number 6. A dozen zombies standing in a trance. Panel 4. Inset lower right, zoomed in view. Wait, is panel 3? Can you scroll up, Preston?
Mm-hmm.
So panel 3 is crossing the gutter, John?
More or less.
It's just zombies, so I guess it'll work, but yeah, I'd be careful about that. You may want to just add another panel of zoomed in action and just have 2 on each side. You've got the room for
Okay.
it.
Well, yeah, I can have him draw 2 on each side of the gutter, or make it 1 panel, but make sure that the gutter doesn't cut a zombie in half.
Yeah, or I mean, it's a zombie, so you don't care. There's no people that we care about. They're just sort of there.
Right. That's
So, because they're just sort of there, it's kind of fine. But generally, be careful about that, because you end up with having 2 margins, and you lose a lot of room in the center space where anything else can get cut out. Okay, back to panel 4. Interior passenger coach number 5. Hansu and Jakande discuss.
we are running out of options.
We need to get a signal to the rear cars.
Page 10. 7 panels. Okay, John, please explain what's going on here. There's like a single panel cut in half because...
Because there's basically a conversation going on in 2 panels at the same time.
So I would do that as like two panels, and like and then specify each panel. But yeah.
Yeah, or just have one really big panel with really clear. Maybe just sketch it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Panel 1, exterior passenger coach number 7. Erin hangs out the window, waves her right hand, pointing at her palm with her left index finger. Okay, so what's she hanging on with? Yeah. Lines.
I see him.
Get me a head count.
Panel 2, exterior passenger coach number 5. Jaconde hangs out the window, confused at Aaron's hand signals. Yes. Panel 3, interior passenger coach number 5. Jaconde climbs back inside.
I think the lieutenant is trying to say something.
Panel 4, exterior passenger coach number 5. Hansu sticks his head out the window.
She wants to know how many people there are.
13.
I'm taking all the speaking parts.
Panel 5, Hansu left shows 5 fingers. Panel 6, Hansu left shows 5 fingers. Hansu left shows 3 fingers. Okay.
13.
Probably be left hand.
Here.
Yeah.
Yes. I know what you're doing here.
And
the
we
inserts
go to page 11. Okay.
sort of work. The weird panel division is sort of weird. I actually, while I think about it, I'd rather you sort of have them both coming in and out of like the same shot of them sticking their heads out the window. Might be better.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Having like a shot with just both of them sticking their heads out the window and being like, I can't hear you. What are you saying? I can't hear you. And then like one head comes back in, cut to that. Just, yeah. I feel like as a layout problem, that might get complicated really quickly, what you drew or what you asked for. I think it could work. It's a very weird, possibly very interesting page design. And I would be curious to see how this turns out from the pencils.
Okay. Or maybe I'll just think of if I can find a better way to redo the page that still.
I know what you're going for, and it's cool. And I think I know what you're trying to direct, and it's probably cool. So, anyways, page 11. Panel 1, interior, passenger coach number 7. Aaron climbs inside.
13.
Damn, how many dead did we leave behind?
18.
Panel 2, a conscript stands in the aisle. That's not how you spell aisle. The other passengers look at them with fleeting, fearful eyes.
Can't we just uncouple the coaches?
Not at the speed we're moving. They're specifically designed to not allow that.
Cool. Okay, that's a good problem to express. Panel 3, interior.
And that's true, actually. I found that out of my research.
That's super cool. Jaconde and Hansu make a plan. We could blow the coupler.
All the ordnance is in the baggage coach.
Panel 4, a farmer approaches them.
There are more zombies up there. What if another smart one is up there?
If we don't stop the train, we're all dead anyways. Okay, good. Back
Dun,
to
dun,
Crisis
dun.
mode.
All right. I mean, there was plenty of action. You know, there were zombies. There were dead zombies that got exploded. There were boobs. I wanted you to be a little more specific on how on the presence of said TNA, but we had that. There was action. Ojoku died in zombie form. I felt a little bad for the guy. He just wanted to go home, and now he's dead.
Yep. He is dead.
Yeah.
He was
Oh,
dead, then he was undead, now he is dead again.
exactly. Yeah. I mean, it seems to present what I think people would want from your story. So there you go. All right, Danny.
I also like it. The action is good. There's a sense of rising tension, which is successfully risen by gunshots. You establish a threat, and people are trying to deal with the threat, and I have no doubt their plan, whatever they determine, is going to go off without a hitch.
Exactly.
Because that's how this
Exactly.
works. Stories,
Everything
right?
always goes according to plan.
Exactly. That's why we spend so much time showing people developing plans, because sometimes things go according to plan. In fact, usually things go according to plan. And
Absolutely.
yeah. At any rate, aside from like where you had a lot of gunshots and no dialogue, because I suspect that was going to be a silent page, and I still generally think it's good form to avoid pages with no actual dialogue or explanation of what's going on, especially when there's action. I think this is really interesting. I think a lot of the art direction is probably very good and also very risky, given, you know, that there's a certain level of confidence in the illustrators that we have for this. So I'd be really careful about that. I think it's a good idea to try and show like non-verbal communication in comics. I'm really glad you tried it, and I hope it works. And yeah, so I feel like there's like a small degree to which the shadow just sort of disappears for no good reason. And he's like sort of the big bad that you really establish in issue 2, right? But given that we don't
He
have
is the big
Zombie
bad.
Ojuku anymore, because he gets blowed up again, and there's like the farmer and whatever, like where's the shadow for like that last few pages?
So the shadow can only resurrect and possess the dead.
Mhm.
So if nobody's dead, he really doesn't have anything to do. So, like, there was the one scene where he's trying to resurrect somebody, and Amos shoots the corpse through the head, and once it's shot through the head, the shadow can't use it anymore. So he kind of
You know
drops
what would
it.
have been really helpful is if someone said that with words. Because this is also a new issue, right? So Amos is like, ha, possess him now that I've shot him in the head, you asshole. Bang, whatever. Something like that. That would have really clarified what was going on. Can't possess him without a brain. Blam. There we go. That's a better line.
Yeah.
Or like, and we do have these like other shots, including exteriors, where there's an opportunity to show the shadow now unable to possess anyone. He can be the shadow anywhere on the train. He's a shadow doing magic. So, like, why is the shadow not, looming on the exterior or like trying to get into a train car that we're not paying attention to, or like whatever, right? That sort of thing to sort of show that this big bad that we spent a lot of time establishing remains a current threat, given that we've now lost the dragon, the big bad lieutenant in Zombie Ojuku, very early. So, sort of showing that there will be an intelligent zombie soon in the art might be a good move.
Okay.
I'm sorry, if that's who the big bad is for this issue. The big bad could.
What do you mean?
They could just defeat the train, right? Find a way to get rid of the zombies and get on with their mission. That's a fine conclusion to this chapter of the story as well. Well, but if you're intending for them to fight the big bad later in chapter 3, showing them kicking around would be a good idea.
Well, yeah, this is the middle of issue 3.
Yeah.
So this is only page 11. There's still 10 more pages to go. Issue 3 is currently 20 pages. It's a bit of a short one.
I mean, I love opening it on a spread. It's gonna be good. Sorry, I feel like I sort of did not express my point correctly. It is unclear whether the end of this particular chapter is going to involve them doing something with the train or doing something with the zombies or both. So if it's zombies or whatever, show the zombies. If it's going to be the train, then you're fine without doing that.
Yeah, something big is going to happen with the train at the end of this issue.
I hope you blow it up or derail it or it crashes into something. Oh, or maybe they'll sprout wings and fly off like a dragon.
It's going to be one of the first 3 that you said.
Okay. I will accept those as appropriately epic in scope threats for this level of story.
Yeah, basically right now they got to figure out a way to stop the train or it's going to derail. And we're not even sure why it's speeding up because nobody's driving it.
I feel like someone should have said that too. I think someone did kind of say that.
I think
They should
somebody
keep
did
saying
kind of
that. It feels like the train's going even faster. Do you know who's driving the train? I don't know who's driving the train. These people should just keep saying that. That's a good mystery.
Okay, that's a good idea. I could
Yeah,
have
zombies
some
is a
mumblings
good
of the
mystery.
passengers. That's
Yeah.
something the passengers could be mumbling. Like,
Like,
why
what's
is the train
happening?
speeding up?
First
Who's
there's
driving the train?
zombies, then there's the shadow, now the train's speeding up. And we like Tojaku. What's happening there? Like, what about the rest of his faction? Are they all dead?
Oh yeah, his whole faction's dead.
Oh, okay. Well, too bad then. So yeah, lots of current and imminent threats that you're piling on. This is a very good middle.
I hope you like how issue 3 is scheduled to end or ends.
I'm sure
I don't remember exactly what happens on the next page, but I do remember how the issue ends. So
I'm pretty sure it involves a train crash. So I'm sure that'll be a ton of fun.
yeah, I hope you all enjoy it.
Preston,
Yes.
Constructives.
I think you got it. I mean, I don't know. Like, it's zombies and boobs. I mean, hard to go wrong. I would want. All right, here we go.
Good.
I want more pretty pictures. You paint me a lot of action. You don't paint me a lot of vivid action. You don't paint me a lot of unique scenes where I go, huh, well, that's cool. I haven't seen that before. I mean, I've seen zombies get shot a bunch. And there's even a comic book that I got right there about, zombies getting splatted by a woman who's not wearing any clothes. So you're not exactly pressing new ground here. I want it to be a little bigger. I want the action scenes to be more actiony. I want the description to be more vivid and the art to just overwhelm me, which is what I think. I think you need to up the ante on the zombie titty genre.
Now, Preston, before you double down on this, did I just spoil you with all of my set description in the last script?
No,
Okay.
it's fine. Yeah, I think it's good. But go ahead.
I have plans to do exactly that, but they're not going to happen until issue 5. So I do hope that I don't bore you to tears before that happens.
So we're building up to a big battle. I mean,
are there any train-related zombie deaths you could do? Like, take the zombie, rip him out onto the cable.
I feel like John Wick is one big fight scene, but each fight scene is entertaining and distinct.
And has a purpose.
Yeah, and has a purpose. And I felt like some of the zombie blowing up was slightly generic. That's just, my thought. Anyway. All right, those are the 2 scripts. I'm sorry, mine is not one of them. I got so busy in these last 3 days suing people, so I will get back to it. But judgments had to be rendered. John and I filed for a motion for default against Ms. Kundert for $711,000 today.
That's
Wow.
a lot of thousands of dollars.
That is a bunch, John.
I can't wait to start building my brand new house, and
I know.
I'm
For
gonna
that
make a
kind of
bed
money, you
just
could
of
nearly
like
afford a one
dollar
bedroom.
bills, so I can
Yeah.
roll in it every day.
Yeah, it's oh well. What can I say? It'll be interesting. Until next week. It's been Preston Poulter, Pocket Jacks Comics. Thank everybody very much for your time. Take care.
Good night, everybody.
Good on.